but you need to understand the landscape. And we help you. And then once you have the landscape for your end user, you got to think about who the distributors are. So as you can see, there's national distributors, there's regional distributors, there's local market, and then there's customer exclusive distributors. By the way, customer exclusive are the best, easiest, fastest, except they're the hardest to get to. Except that we put a lot of time and effort in that. So if we say, don't miss the cycle review once or twice a year, that woman in the deli section at Publix that may be interested in rice bran oil, if I tell you her review is in October, we need to get in front of her in October, or you just lost a year, Nick. So that's kind of why that's hard, but boy, it's a good place to start. And then you think about the implications of that by looking at the map and seeing where they are, how many stores and so forth are you getting into. Then there's hybrid channels. And for all of your products here today, Amazon.com, with whom we have a very good relationship, is about as good a hybrid channel as you're going to get. So you get your digital strategy up, and you get your social media up, and then you're pretty much ready for prime time, whether it's your own site or Amazon. Let's talk about digital work a little bit. So how many of you, I think there's at least two, are in, well, there's Tony and the Shades and Blinds company, right? So you're in what I would call design, right? And there's a design company here to do, right, so you're in design. So do you know the design fellow? What's your name?
Michael.
Michael, how are you? Do you know the company, the website called Apartment Therapy?
No.
You got to check it out, man. Okay. Apartment Therapy, it was started, if I'm not wrong, by a couple on the Upper East Side, and they had this little blog, Apartment Therapy. It was a blog. If you're not well liked in apartmenttherapy.com, you cannot sell your blinds, your couch, your service, your consulting, your interior design. They're the fastest, coolest. Everybody goes to them. How many of you know the website Yelp? Y-E-L-P. Oh my God. They make or break companies in America. They literally make or break companies. Because these Gen Yers, they go into a pizza store, and before they leave the store, they have Twittered and Yelped, YELP.com, about whether the pizza was good and whether the waitress was nice. And they can close you down. Because Yelp has an algorithm that goes further. They say how many people liked you or not and how many stars are on your product. Now Google anything you want. Google Blinds. Google Blinds. And guess what you get? In the top 5 hits, you're going to get Yelp. And you're going to get a Yelper yelping about the blinds they bought at Janovic or whatever hardware store that you, Anthony, are going into competition with. So Yelp.com. So that is social media. There's all kinds of tricks to navigate that terrain. And there's the old school tricks that we all know because you guys are good, honest Australians. The old school way is just have a good product, mate. Make sure it's good. Make sure your customer service is viral and explicit and appropriate. But let's make sure there are good stories about us in the Apartment Therapy or in Daily Candy or all this social media. So one of the things that Global Access does is we make attainable, affordable social media recommendations to you. Both companies that are located here in Australia and companies there. And if we can do your Facebook page, we're more than happy to do so. A lot of you are service companies, which we didn't anticipate today. We thought we'd be talking about to exporters and manufacturers, which I see a couple of. How many of you are service? I know Bounce and the design firm. Anybody else in a service business? Yes, what is your company?
Global Produce Solutions. We work for growers.
Right, produce.
Yeah,
that's
produce,
terrific.
Yeah.
So you advocate for the grower, or?
Yeah, we sell all of the growth products. So we organize all the logistics, all the sales.
Great. So your logistics management. I got to tell you something. That is one of the best growth fields. So if you were a banana guy and you were just talking to me about the produce, I'd be concerned, as you would be, because of regulatory landscape and so forth. But you're not. What you're telling me is, no, I'm also part of the service solution. I can solve the banana guy's issues. both logistically and so forth. And that is a growth area, that's a great area, great service area. But even service companies, or one might argue especially service companies, have to think about their digital presence, their digital media, and how they're messaging what they have to offer. I think the future of brochures for your blinds and explaining your design service is a great app that your website could look as good as it does on this big screen as it does on an iPhone. And they can feel the energy of what your consulting and service organization is offering them. So this talks about gourmet retailers, again, hybrid. So we talked to Tony with the panels company about a hybrid niche market. Passenger vessel owners, very specific type of market. So we try and identify hybrid markets. In the case of Nick Rice Bran Oil, gourmet retailers may be the way to go. Organic and natural may be the way to go, so we've given you that landscape and how we get there. And then we identify strategies for entering the channel. And so part of that is thinking about, establishing a beachhead, right? It's like war. Get in there, make your ground happen. And what's great about a lot of companies that we've met this week in Australia, like you, Tony, you already got a big yacht company with a name. They may not be ordering millions of dollars, but it's a good name. That's considered in classic marketing a beachhead. You can reference them. You can build social media around them. You can describe them to others. So if we bring you 100 other companies, we're in good shape. So we establish a beachhead. Now, there are critical issues for companies planning a U.S. launch. So we have experts in global access that will help you. Kaz in the back of the room helps you with FDA-compliant labels and so forth. Your packaging and your labels and storyline have to be compliant. It's not expensive. It's not arduous. But don't spend the time. We're one-stop shopping. We will help you navigate that terrain. You need to meet ingredient standards and explain it. The value chain, as you can see. You have to have a game plan with milestones and deadlines. And we believe in that because we want to provide you attainable and measurable outcome. And we want to make sure your case is compelling and attractive by zeroing in on your value proposition. So if you're getting folks jobs, how is that different from Goodwill or other industries that are doing it? If part of that component is a placement factor or a skill set initiative, that's pretty interesting. If you're servicing something with a design solution that makes life easier, who's your target audience? How are you making that case compelling? And you should do your own homework, but we help you do that too. So for example, it gives the last thing is talking about the SPINS data. SPINS data or Nielsen data is a powerful tool. Let me tell you what it looks like in food, but it looks like that in shades, it turns out, and in panels as well. What that is it's data collected at the barcode of a register. So everybody who's ever bought a panel or a blind or an apple or rice bran oil or a bag of rice, the SKU goes across the register and we've got the data. What does that data look like? Well, we know how much rice is being sold at what price at 36,000 stores in America. And so isn't it interesting to